Chamberlain, you started off by saying, well, he's not come up to categorically say anything on this particular matter. But again, if we have to go with some of the news reports, especially from the print, well, you could actually see that the governor has also been talking. I'll give you some quote verbatim. That he wanted the best for her. That's why, well, he's pleading with the doctors to have her treated at home. And that's a quote taken from him, and he said that during the press conference in Enugu. And he also has been told not to allow her access to telephone and even a laptop. That the mistake he made was to allow her have access to all of that. So perhaps maybe we should also be talking to some medical experts, perhaps looking at the nature of the illness. If you try to compare what the husband has said she's suffering from, it might also be quite different from what he also suffered from, to the extent that he sought treatment abroad. So these are some of the issues I'm hoping
let's take them one after the other. Okay. And I'm happy you raised these issues. One, Governor Chime is not a medical doctor. He is a lawyer. As a matter of fact, he was, as I understand it, the past Attorney General shortly before, he left as the Chief of Staff to Nnamani. So he's a lawyer. He lacks the requisite expertise to determine and conclude any ailment or any alleged ailment.
Did he do that?
Oh, well, to the extent that he said the mistake he made was to allow this woman access to, some of this telephone and whatever, when he knows she had, medical challenges.
His initial response, from what he read, is that he sought permission. He spoke with the doctors to see if it's possible to actually treat her in government house, and the doctors obliged.
Well,
her being kept in the government house.
I'm even going to that. I was laying the premises to say, one, let's even assume that he did that. Of course, no person has shown us anything. This, as far as I'm concerned, are afterthoughts, because up until the issues came up, and people took it up to fight on behalf of this woman, we didn't hear anything. So the second point to make is that Governor Chime was the former Attorney General of Enugu State. He should know that there is a law known as the lunacy law in Enugu State, duly passed by the State House of Assembly. By that law, you do not keep a psychiatric patient in your home. You take him to the psychiatric house. The government house is not a psychiatric home, and therefore it will seriously be challenged. In short, as a matter of fact, it comes across as almost an impossibility that recommendation, assuming without conceding, had been made.
And if truly we have that law in Enugu State,
as I speak to you, there is a law.
Even Dr. Aham Agomo, yes, who, we understand is Mrs. Chime's neuropsychiatric doctor, is also culpable here.
Whom she also said he has no faith in. Am I right? Is that not the doctor who was imposed on her? And this woman kept crying. As a matter of fact, let me tell you also, because I'm equally interested and I'm interfacing at several levels. I have it on good authority that the activities of that doctor will soon be brought before the professional ethics of their profession to consider the propriety or otherwise of the steps that he has taken in this circumstance. Because as far as we are concerned, quite a number of things went wrong with the whole process, even with the judgments made in interpretation of the situation.
Pardon me to jump in. Should
you are aware that the man who was alleged to have administered Michael Jackson is in prison?
We know the case. Should NMA have made a statement while it was still hazy, when people didn't know what exactly was going on? Should they have made a statement, if not Enugu NMA, but the national body?
Again, that would be within the purview of that association. How do they operate will be the issue. Do you just...
No, but as you speak, yes, I'm not sure there is a medical and dental council now.
Oh, well, that's it.
To discipline erring doctors. Because all the complaints now, since the ministry scrapped it, who takes complaints of doctors or nurses who are misbehaving? Nobody.
This will be very interesting, but is it the ministry that will scrap
But that's what has happened. That's why there's that cry that, look, who do we take complaints of doctors who we feel strongly against? Which body now? So the Ministry of Health hasn't come up on that now.
That is quite intriguing, and it would be interesting to know what powers the minister or the Ministry of Health has to remove a sensitive organ of an association.
Because
that would be violative.
People would have referred to
associate.
Exactly, people would have referred to the body if they suspect that, look, I don't think this doctor has done the right thing. But the Dental Council never, no word mentioned from them, and that's why I suggested, look, what about the NMA? Shouldn't they have saved the face of doctors if we found out that this is not right?
As an option, and I'm aware that it's being considered. However, it is not the only option. There are quite a number of options if Governor Chime remained recalcitrant, and he would have, he would have been forced to take the necessary steps that he
do you also see accomplices coming into this? Because her brother is also been mentioned when they had that press conference, and she was asked to speak, and she was silent for a moment until her brother moved her to an adjoining room, had a talk with her, and she came back and she nudged them to speak on her behalf. So now we haven't so many people coming into the picture, like the neuropsychiatrist, her brother, and even the governor's own sibling. So these are people, as a lawyer, that possibly if we have to bring a case of human rights violations, these are people that we should also be talking to.
That's right. Just like corruption, you hardly could have effectively detained such a person in the circumstance that she was kept for that period of time alone. You can't possibly, no person would have imagined how Governor Chime himself would have been able to do that all alone, including staying by the doors, by the doors to ensure that she doesn't escape. So invariably, there are quite a number of, chains of personnel who effectually ensure that that happens. That will be left for the proper investigation to throw up. However, the accusation had been direct, and like I said, which I'm repeating again, he never denied any of them. On the contrary, he was trying to rationalize why he did it, and for me, that is no denial. And therefore,
sorry, Mark, talking about deniers, I'm sure you also saw the report of her denying ever contacting Mr. Falana.
Oh well, that I thought has been rested, because I'm aware that Mr. Falana also, showed the instruction letter he had, which she wrote to, of course, being in confinement, he couldn't have met Falana in person.
Okay.
And I have a copy of that letter.